Hello everyone, Lugemwa Fred here once again from AGRI-VALUE Industrial Solutions. Our topic today is the value of investment, what is defensive investment and what is speculative investment in the production world. In the production world, these two types of investments are very necessary for you to master, because they will either, when you know them, and if you don't know them, you will either win or lose. What are defensive stocks in production? Defensive stocks are stocks that have very high profit, but they are not consumed on a fast rate in the market. They are not produced by so many manufacturers yet, and you get a hardship to sell them. While speculative stocks are stocks that are easily consumed, they have a very big turnover in consumption. I'll give you an example of mineral water. I'll also give you an example of bar soap. Why do I call bar soap and mineral water speculative stocks, and why do I think that somebody with very little capital shouldn't start with bar soap or mineral water? Why do I think that defensive stocks like cosmetics, high-end cosmetics and creamy liquors would help you win in the production market? Stay tuned in as you learn. Number one, I'll start with highly speculative stocks. Bar soap. Bar soap is very easy to do. We have the equipment, we can show you how to make bar soap. But if you have a specific amount of capital, that is not enough to buy enough trucks that are going to distribute it, my dear friend, don't dream. Because bar soap, people that are already in bar soap produce about grade C soap, where they mix an oil, they add in sodium silicate, they add in kaolin, they add in all the other things to produce the soap. Another thing that they do, they get crude palm oil, bleach it, deodorize it, and make cooking oil. And all the things that they lose in the process are still fats. So they keep it aside and prepare it to use it in the production of soap. So they end up having very cheap, low-cost batches of soap, because some of the batch came from their waste product in the process of producing cooking oil. So if you don't have the cooking oil line, which is somehow expensive for someone with little capital, let's say 5 million shillings, you're not going to compete with somebody who is making cooking oil, having the waste product out of it as soap, and then go in the market. This is what happens in the market. In the market, you need a big truck, because bar soap, you have to transport it in bulk. You have to transport it in bulk. The stock of 20 million will go in a fuso, because it's first of all heavy and cheap. A box of bar soap that's sold at 40,000 shillings is 10 kilograms. You get the cost against weight. So if you have to transport 10 tons, that's stock value. 10 tons is stock value of, if each box is 10 kg and 40,000 shillings, so let's see, how many boxes do you need to have 10 tons, which is a fuso? Those are about 1,000 boxes, and 1,000 boxes would have value of about 40 million. Yes, 40 million. That is 40 million on a fuso. But the profit margin, when you convert that to, when we go down into the formula of crude palm oil, sodium hydroxide, silicate, prices of these are nearly close to the selling value. You'll end up with a profit margin of that stock of about, say, 7 million shillings. But you have transported a fuso that has to compete, and that's the profit margin in the factory. You have to take a fuso to Arua, and you end up with variable costs in hotels as the sales team sleep there. You end up with very little profit, yet you are a big producer. Somebody producing stock of 40 million is somehow big. It's not like somebody, a young entrepreneur who has capital of 5 million, they want to produce something profitable. So that's why we find bar soap being highly speculative. The other one is mineral water. Because of so much competition, the prices of mineral water were forced to go down, and that created packaging cost. The product is almost close to the packaging purchase price. The bottles are almost the value of what water is sold. When you look at other variables, taxes and everything, I would advise you not to go for that, but I would advise you to go for these stocks. Number one, high-end cosmetics that treat a certain condition. You'd work with UNBS, you'd work with URA, you'd work with all the necessary authorities and ensure high-quality products. Consider customer satisfaction. When you give a lady a cosmetic product, irrespective of your production cost, for example, when you have an essential oil distiller and you make high quality product, you don't need to sell at a low price because you're selling your brand. You're not selling a product of that competes with price. You're selling a product that competes with customer satisfaction. It competes with quality. It competes with a certain niche that people will get addicted to your product, irrespective of your price, as long as the product is highly good. Here you find yourself with a batch, maybe you have Ceto, GMS, stearic, and hydrosols, which are the most expensive, that you distill yourself and create a stock worth 5 million with an investment of 800,000 shillings. Even though this stock is not sold immediately, even though this stock takes a whole month, I mean, having a job that pays you 2 million or creating your own business that will profit 4 million in a month. What's better? Even though you've produced that once, you don't have to be busy in production. You don't need so many labor. You can work alone. You can start from something like that. Even when you have some much capital, it's highly defensive that you start with. Then you add in things that have little profit but consume very fast. In production, what works very well for people is that creates enough profit, enough room for you to grow. There are so many challenges that you find in marketing. You have expenses in sales teams. These are people that you're going to be paying accommodation for. Of course, you'll pay them piece rate, so that won't affect you, but accommodation cost is a big one. Transport cost is a big one, and it's very consistent because they have to be in the market every day. But guess what? You're producing a defensive stock in terms of profit. You invested very little and harvested much just because of integrity of the information that you use and the quality of the product that you give, the packaging, all that gives you a safe exercising range of business. So over the years of our experience, we've watched companies and young entrepreneurs that have gone into highly defensive stock win, and those that have gone into very speculative stock stay maybe producing, they never grow, but they are fine. Those that are really aggressive, they will still be fine. They will still be better than your normal salary earner, but they might not grow as those producing very defensive stocks. Lugemo Fred, once again, thank you so much for watching in. Keep on subscribe and follow. Thank you.